convicted of murder as a teenager, Melvin Toron had spent nearly his entire adult life behind bars when federal agents came to his Park Forest home at dawn Tuesday to arrest him on drug trafficking charges. Toron, 50, a reputed high-ranking member of the Black Keystone Nation street gang, didn't go quietly. As an FBI SWAT team descended on the quiet suburban cul-de-sac, a gun battle broke out that left 2 FBI agents wounded and Toron dead inside the home. The agents both suffered non-life-threatening injuries and were treated and released from local hospitals, said Garrett Kroon, a spokesman for the FBI's Chicago office. Few details were being released Tuesday about how the shooting unfolded, including where or how the agents were wounded or whether Toron was shot by the agents or killed himself. FBI investigators from Washington were still processing the scene Tuesday night, Kroon said. Promoted stories from the Chatter Network burn it down, Sanders supporters ignite controversy. Politics Chatter meet Trump's national spokesperson Katrina Pearson. Politics Chatter 19 things to know about Fox News anchor Megyn Kelly. Politics Chatter. An autopsy on Toron was scheduled to be performed on Wednesday morning, according to the Cook County Medical Examiner's office. The dramatic events unfolded as children were getting ready to go to school and prompted a lockdown at nearby Rich East High School, as well as a warning that students who walk or ride the bus to school should be kept at home because of an unsafe situation in the community. The all-clear was given around 9 a.m. Neighbors, meanwhile, said the wild scene unfolded like a Hollywood movie. Law enforcement on scene at Park Forest home after 2 FBI agents shot. Law enforcement officials gathered outside a home in Park Forest where 2 FBI officials serving an arrest warrant were shot and a suspect was found dead inside a home May 24, 2016. WGN-TV/Chicago Tribune. I mean, I wouldn't even expect to see that type of stuff happening out here. This is like the stuff that happens on television, said Scott Smith, 51, a music promoter who has lived nearby for about 2 years. I mean, the way that they came. I'm like, golly. The attempted arrest of Toron stemmed from a 2-year investigation codenamed Operation Cornerstone that targeted narcotics trafficking by members of the Black Keystone Nation and others, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Authorities seized distribution quantities of cocaine and heroin, cash and firearms in raids Tuesday as part of a probe that involved wiretapped cell phones and extensive surveillance, according to federal prosecutors. Aside from Toron, federal agents and Chicago police arrested at least 10 suspects early Tuesday, including one in Minnesota and another in Indiana, law enforcement officials said. At least 5 defendants appeared Tuesday afternoon at the Dirksen U.S. Courthouse on a variety of charges, where a U.S. District Magistrate judge ordered them held in custody pending detention hearings next week. Among the criminal activity uncovered in the investigation was a heroin and cocaine operation being run out of a South Side clothing store, according to federal prosecutors. An informant told authorities that drug couriers would purchase an item of clothing as a pretext, and the store owner or an employee would bag the item and pass over an additional bag containing the narcotics, prosecutors alleged. Last summer, an informant working at the direction of investigators purchased more than 1 kilogram of heroin from the store owner for $72,000, federal prosecutors said. In November, an FBI informant was secretly recording as he negotiated the purchase of $15,000 in heroin at a restaurant in the back of the Yards neighborhood, according to prosecutors. The transaction, which later took place at a residence in Englewood, was also recorded. According to prosecutors, the probe also resulted in charges against James Jones, who was arrested in December after Chicago police pulled his car over and found 2 loaded semi-automatic pistols hidden in a baby bag in the back seat, next to an infant in a car seat. Jones, 41, has pleaded not guilty to a charge of being a felon in possession of a handgun and is being held without bond while awaiting trial. A criminal complaint charging Toron with distribution of heroin was filed under seal on Monday. It will likely never be made public due to his death, according to law enforcement sources. Court records show that Toron had a long criminal record that began when he was arrested for murder in Cook County in 1984, when he was just 18. He pleaded guilty 2 years later and served a little more than half of his 20-year prison sentence before being paroled in the late 1990s, records show. Details on the murder case were not available Tuesday. In July 1999, Toron was charged in Wisconsin with manufacturing and delivering heroin with intent to distribute, as well as using a dangerous weapon in furtherance of a crime, records show. He pleaded guilty to both counts and was sentenced to 14 years behind bars in January 2000. According to online records with the Wisconsin Court of Appeals, Toron was paroled in February 2005. 3 years later, he was convicted in Cook County of the aggravated assault of a police officer and weapons offenses and sentenced to another 7 years in prison in Illinois, records show. When he was released in that case, Toron was shipped back to a state prison in Wisconsin for violating the terms of his parole by picking up the Cook County arrest, records show. He filed an appeal of that decision, but in November 2012 the appellate court in Wisconsin upheld the sentence. He was finally released in February 2013. In a resume posted online as part of the Winnebago Correctional Institute's efforts to help inmates re-enter society, Toron wrote that he had graduated from trucking school and held a commercial driver's license. He also touted his computer skills, saying he could type 45 words per minute. On Tuesday, neighbors described seeing an estimated 40 law enforcement personnel in military-style gear beginning to mobilize in yards throughout the neighborhood about 6:30 a.m. An FBI armored vehicle was also at the scene, they said. About half a dozen law enforcement members began to yell at Toron to leave the house, telling him his mother was at the scene and wanted to talk to him, according to Smith. When Toron didn't leave, tear gas canisters were shot into the home, Smith said. Authorities then broke down the door, and gunshots could be heard from inside the home. Another neighbor, Orphea Sugbia, said she saw other people leave the home before the tear gas was fired. Several neighbors said they had not suspected that anything out of the ordinary had been going on in the house until Tuesday, though Smith said he noticed a van and a police car parked near the home the day before. Neighbors described Toron as a friendly person who is often seen walking his pit bull. He seemed like a pretty nice guy, Smith said. People said it was a drug bust, but I didn't see nobody ever coming over here. This is a quiet neighborhood. Jason Meissner is a reporter for the Chicago Tribune. Zach Kosk is a reporter for the Daily Southtown. Dennis Sullivan is a freelance reporter.